So this is the tunnel at one of our nature reserves. It's currently only used minimally for bats, but it has the potential to be a really significant habitat. So we grilled it to stop it being used as a bit of a antisocial space. But we've seen only a couple of bats use it each year, and we've had bat experts come down and are there with the opinion that it's a little bit too wet. The humidity level's too high, and whilst you do get very wet caves, there's usually a draft associated with the ones that are good habitat for bats. Built these structures a couple of years back so they provided an alternative refuge by creating these narrow jams that crevice-dwelling bats could make use of. Nothing's made use of them particularly. You know, there's potential there to house 1,000 bats if needed. It's all down to the fact that the humidity is a bit too rich. There's not enough of a draft coming from the far end of the tunnel. The objective is tomorrow to bring a digger down and try and create a draft at the far end, which will improve it for bats. So this is absolutely fabulous news, actually. We'll put these 2 wires in as a sort of different method for bats to find a hole in the tunnel. And lo and behold, there's our first horseshoe bat. I've seen use it. I won't stay here long. Not disturbing. They're actually in use. Built a couple of these structures in here. They're kind of like mini chambers. They offer different temperature stability for bats. They haven't been used that I've ever observed. You don't necessarily just look for the bats. You also look for signs of bats. Where droppings may have been. We popped a temperature humidity meter in here, but it seems the humidity has destroyed it. It's blacked out screen. Just as you think the tunnel's finished, it actually then crops down to half height, and the only way you get along there is by kind of squatting. It's quite a long way. There's no draft, so yeah, it's quite stagnant, and by the time you get to the end you're kind of out of breath. But I just want to make sure we know of every bat that's currently using it before we attempt any modifications to get it a bit more drafty. Oh boy. So this is the end of the tunnel. This is the formwork that was here that created the curve of the roof for the bricklayers. I'm told it will have been here a very long time, possibly since the 1900s. I'm not certain. Here you can see boulders blocking the exit. Obviously the tunnel couldn't have been used while this formwork was still here, so it's a bit of a mystery for me as to why it was here, and yet have a tunnel that must have been used.